Hello everybody, welcome to What Culture Gaming. I'm Scott and I'm joined by Josh.
Hello.
Hello! You're fresh from being staying up all night watching Justice League.
Fresh is like being liberal with the term, I think.
It's very true. Today is the day that everything seems to kick off. We've got the Star Wars Battlefront 2, we've got Justice League, we've got the Punisher, and the Game Awards.
The Game Awards, the most important one.
The most talked about one, at least so far. Well, kind of. Battlefront 2 is a bit of a mess. Anyway, the Game Awards aren't actually on for another few weeks.
Yeah.
But Jeff Keighley did an announcement last night and unveiled a whole bunch of different categories and the nominations for each one. So there's like 20 different categories in total or something like that. But I thought we could pick the 10 most kind of biggest ones, or the ones that are going to have be the most talked about, because no one's going to really care about esports.
Well, you say it, but
well, you know, maybe. But yeah, I thought we'd rattle through these and we can say what our nominations are for each one.
Cool.
I don't know how much we're going to agree. We haven't talked about it that much before. And
we rarely agree on big things.
We'll have to see. L.A. Noire though, terrible. No. Don't worry about it. Okay, so the first category is the best multiplayer.
Right.
And I'm going to read through these and then we'll try and keep it fairly tight-ish.
All right.
We might agree. You never know.
Maybe.
Best multiplayer game for 2017: Call of Duty World War II, Destiny 2, Mario Kart 8, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or Splatoon 2.
Right.
Oh God, my shout for that is going to have to be PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Is this what we want to win or what we think will win?
We're going to go with what we want to win.
Right.
What should win.
Well, yeah, it's got to be PlayerUnknown's. It's got to be PlayerUnknown's.
That is quite easy that we both already agree.
I mean, everything else it's stuff we've seen before.
Yeah.
We've seen Call of Duty before, we've seen Destiny before, we've even seen Splatoon before, even though it's very good.
Very true.
Yeah, PlayerUnknown's just does something different. I feel like. Yeah.
Well, one of the things, like, it was so huge. I mean, we're still yet to see it kind of like impact the console space. You've kind of seen it a little bit with Fortnite, just because it was hilarious as well. There's another category around here where Fortnite's nominated for the same thing that PlayerUnknown's is.
Right.
And I was like, Fortnite wouldn't even be a thing without, in terms of talking about it. But anyway, yeah, I mean, in terms of doing anything new genre-wise, it feels like PlayerUnknown's is kind of one of the only games to bring like a new genre to the fore. Obviously, we've had Last Man Standing things before, but the level of proficiency it does it too, and the whole military side of, the side of things, and 100 players all scavenging to kill each other and whatever. It's good. It's very damn good.
It's a genuine phenomenon, man.
Yes.
And, like, I don't think any of these games, as good as they are, 'cause they're all brilliant, brilliant multiplayer games, but none of them really come close to capturing the spirit of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
It's true. I mean, I'll be curious to see just kind of how well it does on consoles, because especially with the Xbox One exclusivity and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But as far as the mechanics go, we will give it to Mr. PlayerUnknown's, Mr. Battlegrounds, and all that. Okay, so flipping it completely, we're going to go into stories.
Right, so that's the only one we all agree on then.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. There's some Hellblade love in some categories, but we'll see. So the next thing is the best narrative. So Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, Horizon Zero Dawn, Nier Automata, What Remains of Edith Finch, or Wolfenstein 2.
That's a good category.
Placed there for your consideration. Right. You feel free to go first.
Ooh, a big one, but my gut feeling says, oh, Nier.
I knew you were going to say Nier.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh God.
Maybe. I mean, again, it's such a good category. Actually, no, I'm going to go What Remains of Edith Finch.
Really?
I'm changing it. I'm going to go What Remains of Edith Finch.
For the best story of the year?
Yes, that racked me, man. Yeah.
How?
What? It's sad. It's very sad. It's very sad.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I think okay, so Edith Finch, I liked Edith Finch. I didn't think that it did. I was like, okay, so I mean, actually, we should probably be fairly sans spoilers just in case we're going to check these things out. So Edith Finch, the general sort of setup is that you're returning to your family home, and you're like, you're dissecting like what's happened to your.
You're going back to your family home like for the first time in years, and you're pretty much going through your family tree, figuring out how your family died, and trying to decide whether or not your family's cursed or not, or whether it's just been a story that's been perpetuated by Mrs. Edith Finch. And it's really good.
I do see. I think it's quite uplifting. Like there are some sad moments, but I like the way that thing ends. Like the whole like clutch life, make the most of it kind of thing. Yeah. That stuff is cool, but I do not think it doesn't hold a candle to Horizon. Like the way that Horizon frames itself, all these comments on like religion and like human needs and like primal needs, and like the whole idea of like how religions form and how different sects form and tribalism, and like all the different cultural comments that Horizon makes, and the dependency on technology and all that kind of stuff. Like the whole like middle chunk of Horizon was like the most binge watchable story. Like I absolutely adore Horizon.
You know what, Scott?
Go on.
You're right.
Yes!
And I'll concede. If Horizon, I'd love Horizon to win. I would love Horizon to win. I think on this list of games, that would be number 2.
It wouldn't surprise
Even
me.
though I said Nier and then went to Edith and then went back to this. But
Nier does some phenomenal things by breaking the fourth wall and making you make some horrible decisions that only really work as a gamer. You'd have to play it to see. But that stuff is phenomenal. But I think, some of the critics' choice might go for Hellblade. I think a lot of people want to champion Hellblade. There's another category that Hellblade is nominated for in terms of the performances. I think that's where Hellblade's going to come back around.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. The next one is Best Art Direction. I think this is kind of a shoo-in.
This is an easy one.
So the Best Art Direction is Cuphead, Destiny 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's Cuphead, isn't it?
Cuphead.
It's going to always be Cuphead. Anything that's sort of vaguely aesthetic related is always going to be Cuphead. That game looks like nothing else and it just looks absolutely stunning.
I don't know why Destiny 2 is on that list, to be honest. There are games I would choose over that than Destiny 2.
It's sort of like art direction, so I guess if you're thinking of a wider universe scope, then maybe they're trying to inject a bunch of stuff into that, but I don't know, what the hell is the name of that evil dude? Growl? Evil, suck a meat man? He was very much like, we need another, walk and punch bag kind of guy. Destiny 2 did very little for me outside the shooting. But not to worry, that's a very easy category that we can agree on.
Yeah.
Next up is Best Fighting Game, which is ARMS, Injustice 2, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which I completely forgot even came out this year, Nidhogg 2, and Tekken 7. Audio Shock.
Gotta be Injustice 2, I think.
I think it's also going to be Injustice 2.
Tekken 7 was good.
Yeah.
I think that's a good shout. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was disappointing.
Yes.
I didn't play ARMS. I don't know what that is.
ARMS is the one that's on the Switch, and you have a Joy-Con in each hand, and you can play it with a regular controller if you want, but it's very much just it's like if they made a motion control version of Punch-Out. So you're just you're swinging punches, you're trying to curve shots. Everyone has extendo arms, so you can curve under and around people. It's a much better idea in theory than it is in execution, mainly because the Joy-Cons on the Switch just don't have the fidelity needed to really get reliable shots in. It's fun, but it doesn't hold a candle to the amount of depth that's in Tekken or Injustice. And I would say that Injustice just has more to it. And in terms of the depth and the amount of different ways you can play it, all the different super moves and all that kind of stuff. I had an absolute blast with Injustice 2. Whereas Tekken 7, I was like, this is cool, it's more Tekken. And then the power crushers and the different sort of specials they had, for me, didn't differentiate it enough.
As a full package, Injustice 2 sort of just takes the cake.
It does.
And
you can play it as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So what else do you want really?
Lots more than that.
Do you?
Yeah.
What?
Sort of. I don't know.
Why?
Don't know.
Oh, hot take, Brown. So the next one they have is the most anticipated games of 2018, and they've got God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, Red Dead Redemption 2, and The Last of Us 2.
Cool.
I think we might agree.
I think we may agree.
Mine will be The Last of Us 2.
Mine, yeah, we can't. Nothing beats Last of Us 2. Nothing beats Last of Us 2.
I don't know, there's more that Rockstar could, there's more ground to cover potentially in Red Dead 2. There's a whole backstory of all the different stuff to do with the Duchess gang, the Van Galen gang, all that kind of thing. At the same time, both of those games feel like unnecessary sequels or unnecessary continuations. Like for me, Marston's death capped off Red Dead, and the way that Ellie and Joel end that cutscene in The Last of Us is very much a final point. So both of them feel quite risky, to me anyway. But my shout would be Last of Us, mainly because I have so much faith in Naughty Dog. So.
Me too. Red Dead Redemption is. I'm excited for it, but from what we've seen so far, The Last of Us Part 2 has grabbed me the most. I'm the most interested in seeing what the crack is with that. But at the same time, Marvel Spider-Man is going to be.
I know.
It's going to be.
I wish I was more psyched for Marvel Spider-Man. It looks solid, but they haven't given me anything new.
Right.
I've gone, cool, you're doing the swinging mechanics, we did them back in 2004, or we did them in Web of Shadows, or whatever. It's not blowing me away. It looks good, but so far I haven't seen any particular thing where I've gone, I can't wait to try that. So I'm kind of waiting for maybe a little bit more in that regard.
Yeah, what's interesting about these games chosen is that they're all 3 are PlayStation 4 exclusives.
That's a very, very good point.
Is there any Xbox One?
Well, 4. No, but if you ask the general question of is there any Xbox One ... anything,
I guess.
Do you want a new console? Do you want 4K? Got anything for it?
The 4K is good though.
You're the only one of us who's got 4K.
I'm pretty jealous about that. So
not to worry. So the next game is the best RPG. And I didn't think this year was that big for RPGs till I started looking back on what actually came out. So the best RPGs for 2017 are Divinity Original Sin 2, Final Fantasy 15, Nier Automata, which I wouldn't really class as an RPG, but whatever, Persona 5, and South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
Right.
I'm guessing your shout's going to be
Nier.
Nier again.
Nier. Why wouldn't you class it as an RPG?
Because it's, oh well, I mean, okay, so my roots of the RPG label go back to the 90s, and it's very much more like turn-based and all that kind of stuff. Nier is so, the guts of Nier, the core of Nier is so much of it is an action game.
Yeah.
Like I like that you can unplug parts of your character and remix things around and decide what you want to specialize in, but it doesn't have the same feel as something like a Final Fantasy or a South Park or whatever.
True,
Even in saying that,
yes.
Final Fantasy 15 was all over the place.
Yeah, even that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. That is easily Nier.
Yeah.
Easily Nier.
My gut says South Park because I really like the Factory But Whole. I actually really love the progression in that thing. I think they do a nice balance of like constantly getting upgrades and different character abilities and unlocking different classes. And the combat is fun. Like it's nice. Like it's turn-based, but you also have grids, like an XCOM style grid that you can jump around. I got quite sucked into South Park. I thought it was really cool. We'll have to wait and see then.
Yes, we will.
I don't know. I've heard good things about Divinity as well, but at the same time, ain't played it. Okay, so next up is the best independent game, and again, this might be a total runaway, but we'll see. We have Cuphead, we have Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, we have Night in the Woods, Pyre, and What Remains of Edith Finch.
This is really hard.
That is extremely hard.
That is a really good.
Now I went back and forward on this when I initially started, like when I brought up the nominations. Do you have an initial reaction?
My initial reaction is Hellblade.
I think mine is, well, okay, my initial reaction is not Hellblade,
Right.
but I came around to Hellblade, because my initial reaction was Pyre.
Right.
Because I absolutely adore Pyre. I think Pyre is like one of the most meticulous and just an incredible artistic achievement, both in a narrative sense in terms of just the pure artistry of it, the mechanics that are there, and the developers like Supergiant, like rolling together all their influences from all their past games. Like, there's something about Pyre that has a level of like professionalism and artistry to it where I was like, this is immaculate. But in saying that, if we're championing the best independent mentality, going solo and making it work and that kind of thing, what Hellblade does for the industry is prove that you don't even need the big AAA industry kind of thing. You can make a game that looks like Hellblade and have, you know, like a much more independent, artistic sort of mindset to it.
I don't think Hellblade is the... It's difficult because I don't want to say it's not the best game. I mean, mechanically speaking, Hellblade is lacking so much. Yeah. But I mean, as an experience, Hellblade is so good. Hellblade is...
Do you want to get your chin straight and get your chin beard?
As an experience.
Well, to me. For now, I am going with Hellblade as well. I think Hellblade represents the most independent mentality, or indie mentality, and it's something to be championed, I would say.
I expected you to go Cuphead.
Oh, I would have gone Cuphead, but like I said, I think considering what Hellblade went through to come together and what it represents for the industry, it shows that there's a rise in the indies going on, and that's really cool. And next is best score/music, and this is when Cuphead comes screaming back in. So the best score/music: Cuphead, Destiny 2, Nier Automata, Persona 5, Super Mario Odyssey, or Breath of the Wild. For the music.
If Nier did anything right, it was the music. It was the music. That soundtrack was excellent. I kept my flatmates up so much hearing that one tune. They must have hated it because they weren't playing it, but I was playing it. It was great.
I've played a lot of Nier. I couldn't name you a single tune from it. But I mean, maybe that's me. I don't know. It doesn't hit like Persona 5's music does, or Cuphead's music. Those soundtracks, those scores have like identities all their own. Like you could put any of part of Persona 5 soundtrack on, and you'd know it was that game. You can put any part of Cuphead on and be like, okay, this transports me back to the old school, but it's produced in a way that makes it feel modern. Like, for me, it would be Cuphead or Persona, and in fact, I think I would give it to Persona, because of the way that it's integrated in the levels and the way it's integrated into battles. It's kind of one constant score, but they jump between stuff quite a lot. So my shout would be Persona, yours is Nier.
It's definitely Nier.
Let us know in the comments which music you prefer. Next up, we have a lead acting performance.
This is a good category.
This is a good category.
I've seen this one.
So we have Ashley Birch from Horizon Zero Dawn, which is Aloy, Brian Bloom, who played VJ Blazkowicz in Wolfenstein 2, Claudia Black and Laura Bailey, who played Chloe and Nadine in Uncharted Lost Legacy. Bit weird that both of them got nominated in the same game. Other nominations you could have had, but whatever. And also Melina Jurgens from Hellblade as Senua herself.
Get a lot of PlayStation games on this. There's people.
Oh, this has been Sony's I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's a lot of it's Nintendo's
It's true as well. Yeah, I know. I don't think we can just say it's Sony's year.
If we're talking like acting performances, though.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, what's your initial take? I have a complicated thought process for this.
Hellblade gets this.
Really?
Yeah. The performances in that game was so good.
I mean, especially the fact that Melina, like when I looked at the behind the scenes stuff, I forget exactly what her position was.
She was a video editor.
Right, and she'd never acted before.
No.
And the fact that she just managed to step in and just deliver such an incredible performance. It reminds me a little bit of Viva Seifert's performance in Her Story, in terms of like, here's this random person, and we're going to like shower them with praise. But I think, unlike that, this deserves it.
Right.
I feel like, as much as I love Her Story, when that won over The Witcher 3, I was like, what world are we in? It doesn't matter. My main thing with Hellbit is like, that whole game hinges on her descending to psychosis, and that, you wouldn't have that without such a solid performance. I do bloody love Aloy though, and I do bloody love Brian Bloom.
Well, I love all of those people. They're all good, Scott.
They're
all good.
They're all good.
It's what would you give? Who would you give it to?
I think I would have to give it to Hellbit. Just that whole idea of anchoring the whole game to a specific performance just elevates it like way more. We're to the end. Old buddy, old pal.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one.
Game of the year.
Right.
Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Super Mario Odyssey, or Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Right. Well, I think I know what yours is going to be.
You might have an idea.
I think I know what yours is going to be.
You might have a slight idea.
And for me, it's got to be.
I can see Nia's not even on there.
I know.
So you've got to.
I've got to go out of the box here. I know what you're going to give it to. You got to give it to The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
It's not even close.
And I think that's fine, but just to be sort of a contrarian, I'm going to go Horizon Zero Dawn.
The thing is, as well, I mean, I wrote a whole article on the site, and I can't remember if it's being adapted into a video, but I did a whole thing versus Zelda versus Horizon,
right?
Because they're very close in very many respects. But I ultimately concluded that for me, whatever, I do think Breath of the Wild is a better game. But it's weird because the mechanics of Zelda, like, they're incredibly solid. The third-person action, the crafting, the exploration, the climbing, all that stuff is great. But it's also what it represents this year. Like, Breath of the Wild was this like perfect encapsulation of why we game. Like, no extraneous microtransaction, extra crap. Just this gorgeous, like, artistic, meticulously produced. You know, like, the heart was there for that thing. It had such a soul. And as much as I love Horizon, the beats of that thing were cobbled together from every other major action game for the last 7 years. Yeah. From Shadow of Mordor style archery to like, the different crafting. You even got the trace like an NPC's route, like Hitman. Yeah. I looked at it and I went, okay, you've taken the best of and you've cobbled them all together. But feel free to disagree.
No, I mean, I can't really argue against Breath of the Wild. Like what you said, that is what the industry needs right now.
I would say so.
And I want to champion that. I love it if it wins. I'll be like, yes, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Win it.
Yeah, Link.
Yeah.
Done it.
You do it. You do that.
To be fair though, Horizon deserves its day in the sun. It's very close.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be very close. Like, come the awards itself. Like, Horizon is an incredible achievement as well. Especially considering that Guerrilla Games haven't been able to do anything else since like 2004, whenever the hell the first Killzone was. It's been a long time that they've been waiting to burst out. And I loved how much Horizon just felt like this big explosion of color and experimentation, all these different, narrative structures that we can delve into with like tribalism and and religion, all that kind of stuff. Horizon is a hell of a shout too.
But I know what you mean when you say it's just sort of an amalgamation, and that sounds like I'm sort of putting it down. It sounds a bit reductive, but it is an amalgamation of the greatest hits of open world games, done so perfectly though. But I mean, Zelda is just sort of something else.
Zelda sort of redefines how you make an open world. You treat the whole open world as one level, and you go, okay, how can we get through this level in a more unique way? And for that alone, it reframes the open world genre, and also represents to the year how to do a video game, like how to remember how to do a video game, which I think a lot of developers and publishers have kind of lost this year. But whatever, we can see how it goes. I think it's December 7th. It's definitely the start of
December. Should PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds be on there, considering it's in early access? Isn't coming to Xbox?
It's an interesting conversation. It's rushed. It's weird because there's two things to it. Like, one, like, in the yes camp, because it's had its biggest impact this year in terms of being on PC, but also like no, because the finished version is now and they're trying to nominate a version that hasn't even been released yet. And also considering the amount of bugs that have been in that game across the year, chances are the December release on Xbox One isn't going to be the most polished thing. Yeah. So for the sake of giving the developers the benefit of the doubt, or the benefit of a whole year to themselves, I would rather they wait. And it can just dominate next year. But even then, it's going to have to go up against Last of Us 2 and Red Dead 2. So
true. I'm not saying it shouldn't be there. I think it's an interesting conversation to have that with slipping early access games into like games of the year.
Definitely. I mean, they had a separate category for the best ongoing game, which I didn't pick to talk about.
Yeah, they did.
But it was on there as well. But they sort of mixed it. It was like Destiny was next to PlayerUnknown's, and it's like, one of them's early access, one of them's DLC fueled. Like they're not the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's worth talking about because PlayerUnknown's has been this big phenomenon, but at the same time, it's not finished. And so it opens a potentially weird gate into putting all sorts of early access stuff on there.
It does.
So I mean, depending.
But then again, very few early access games are as good as PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Very true. I mean, we'll see if Shenmue 3 makes it onto the list next year. But I mean,
what do you mean next year?
So you guys can feel free to let us know in the comments which ones you like, which games should be nominated, and you can tell us if we're right or wrong.
I know I'm wrong. This is right.
You know, you might be right. Horizon's a damn good game. Legend of Zelda is better though. But yes, you guys let us know in the comments what you think. I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
And we'll see you soon.
Most people click away now, but look at all this other entertainment here. Is it spherical?
It's square.
It's a square.
Rectangular.
Rectangular. Look at those right angles. Over here, circles?
Yeah.
Circles. Look at the circles. I don't think they're going to be where I'm putting my hands.